Bob Mazeppi, part of Lake Lovers and a board member from Friends of Lake Catherine. Today we're standing at North Avenue Bridge over Trevor Creek. This is an important import source to Lake Catherine. Trevor Creek's watershed is approximately 8 square miles. It's dominated by agricultural and semi-rural runoff. Sometimes lake improvement projects need to take place outside the actual lake. We spend thousands of dollars treating algae, improving clarity, reducing muck inside the tub, but if the faucet is continually delivering nutrient-rich water, we're going to be treating the same problem over and over again. Over the past several years, we focused much of our attention on conditions in the lake. However, there is growing evidence that we should also evaluate what comes through and enters into the lake upstream, particularly through different watersheds. When it rains in agricultural land, stormwaters pick up soil particles, phosphorus, nitrogen, and organic matter. These nutrients eventually make it downstream. Simple solutions like establishing vegetative strips, restoring wetlands, or creating small settling basins that slow water down. The Lake Lovers program has provided me the tools, the education, to use the science to better understand these opportunities and provide additional resources to solve these issues. In investigation, I always thought Trevor Creek was our problem as far as bringing in sediments and phosphorus, but we started doing some research. I went to Google Earth and went to the Lake County map site and was able to investigate where the water flow was coming and found there was a farm field further upline that was creating some of the problems. It was going from the farm field to Venice Pond Drain, down to Venice Pond, and into Trevor Creek. We found from a testing with Lake Lovers water test kits, we found phosphorus levels were higher in Venice Pond Drain, 0.43 milligrams per liter, versus Trevor Creek at 0.07 milligrams per liter. We also have some samples we've taken of watercolor, pulling samples off the bridge here and pulling samples off the inlet. And you can see the discoloration in the jars of water samples, the sediment stained water. About a mile east up the road, for the farmer's field up the road, it's about 60 acres, 65 acres. All the farm field drains this way. Google Maps, Google Earth map shows the drainage coming this way. Look for culverts. As you can see, there's a large culvert here that goes across the street that takes the water running off the farm under the street and into the field next to us, and then running down across. Let's come over here and take a look. Takes the water now, running it up through these fields through 3 or 4 different homes. Probably another mile away from the lake. This is the source of the higher phosphorus we're finding downstream. There are possible solutions. The farmer could put some more grass strips in here to help retain the soil on his property. We're even possibly talking to the farmer about putting in some sediment basins that would be on the edge of his property that would catch the water and sediment where he can use the water down the road for irrigation. And did a comparison of the water from Venice Pond Drain versus the water coming out of Trevor Creek, along with phosphorus tests. The sample colors, you could see a big difference in the water coming from Venice Pond Drain. It was like a chocolate milky color versus a clearer water coming from Trevor Creek. The phosphorus levels were a lot higher. The phosphorus is 0.47 milligrams per liter versus Trevor Creek was 11.11 milligrams per liter. So this indicated a lot of our problem was coming through Venice Pond into Venice Pond Drain. So we walked across the street where the actual water comes across, and you can see enters into Venice Pond Drain. 2 24-inch culverts feed this old drain, which needs a lot of work. It needs to be cleaned out, needs to be dredged, and some of the debris has to come out of here so the water flows better. Again, the color of the water here is a chocolatey color, definitely not a clear water coming through here. Because of the opportunity and tools and the technology that Lake Lovers has provided us, we're able to identify that there is a problem with external loading, and the phosphorus levels coming from the farm field is a lot higher than what we anticipated. So we're putting our focus on this area. We've hired an engineer firm to help us develop some plans, best management practices, to hopefully stop some of the sediment from entering our lakes. More to come on this down the road.